Okay, school.
All right. All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for the finale
of Ten Little Roosters.
10 Little Roosters. Yes. So, Jacob, it's been a long road.
Yes, it has.
It's been drawn out.
Yes.
It's been a mystery. And now secrets will be revealed. And you will probably be disappointed to some extent.
I get the feeling that, unfortunately, Miles is not going to be getting a crescent rose to the chest. And that's really too bad. Because that would just be perfect.
Well, someone's dying of a pun. The killer was killed, and then there was one.
Right, so here's the thing. That could either be talking about how the killer was killed or how the killer killed the final person.
And that's the real trick of this one.
Right,
but I'm going to tell you, once the one died of a pun part happens, I'm going to tell you how you figured this out in like episode 2.
Oh.
You accidentally stumbled across the answer, the formula, actually, to figure it out, and you didn't investigate it. But if you had, it actually might have helped you solve the last two ones a little bit more obviously. But it's not super obvious.
Okay.
We're taking some digging. But without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a 12-minute. The humor in this one is pretty good, but yeah. All right, 3. Oh wait. All right, here we go.
What the hell?
This episode of the RT Podcast is brought to you by Death.
Barbara? You are the killer!
Obviously.
Wait, how did I even get here? The last thing I remember was being chased by a puma, and then Lindsay got torn to pieces, and did you tie me up with my own tie?
Look, I don't have time for your stupid continuity questions right now, Ryan, okay? I need that time to monologue. Let's just say somehow I got the drop on you, and you're here now, and you look great. Who gives a shit? Now let's go to a live feed of Miles' death.
Hello? Anybody? I just kind of woke up here. There's also a camera. Can anybody hear me? I'm glued to the treadmill. That's like the number one thing I'd hate to be glued to. Really, any sort of exercise equipment. It beeped. Why is it beeping? It's beeping. What? Okay. The treadmill's been activated. Little alarmed. Did not do that because of my aforementioned glue hands. It's getting faster.
Why not just stand on the side?
Oh my god. Or Zeus. Or Buddha. Who's doing this? Today's not leg day. I was gonna work on my quads. And my seps, both buy and try. Yes, I pay attention. I didn't know people could run this fast. Why is this a setting? Who is doing this? Why? 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 Oh, this isn't too bad. Oh God, no, why? I'm so scared. I'm so scared, I can't do it.
Why did he stop standing on the side?
No, I can do this. I'm the hero of this story. I'm gonna win. I can do this. There is absolutely no way that I will not survive this.
And there's that.
I guess you could say he couldn't go the extra mile.
Yes, I would say that if I still made puns. Tell me, when was the last time you heard me make a pun? Because you know what's better than puns, Ryan.
Oh, sex. Brisket. Puppies in small sweaters.
Those are pretty good. But what's even better than that are riddles.
Oh yeah, some do consider riddles a higher form of pun, yes.
And now, I'm a higher form of being. All those years, Gus never knew, but I was watching. Learning how he poured his heart out into that poetry, and all that time I was growing, evolving. And then one day, I transcended puns and people. And none of you were worthy of me anymore and had to be exterminated.
Whoever this is has a real god complex.
I wanted to purge you all at once. So, I murdered Bernie's partner. And like clockwork, he staged this lock-in and handed my victims right to me.
Hey, come on, but it's fine. This is a ship in motion. Things are gonna happen.
And that brings us to tonight.
Man, you were serious about that monologuing.
I know, right?
Well, while you're at it, you might as well tell me how you poisoned Michael's glass.
First off, it was my glass. I mean, when did you see me with one?
Wait. That glass was there when I sat down. And actually, it was Chris who was sitting there before, not you. Are you saying he was in on it?
That Middle-earth moron? Ha! He took his glass with him. Or don't you remember him dropping it? And having to get a new one.
No, you, but 5 dicks!
But that would have only given you a few minutes after Chris left to plant the glass. And you were playing that goddamn cat piano the whole time.
Was I, Ryan? Think back.
Was she?
Real hard.
But imagine what that'll be worth with investments and shit.
Why don't you go wander in front of a herd of elephants and get trampled to death?
Shit, you're right.
It's like I told you.
Open your ears.
Okay, well, what about Gus? What was to stop him from drinking the poison glass?
Well, the fact that Gus was drinking beer that night instead of champagne, and I've shared an office with him long enough to know he can't resist a good toast, especially with a convenient glass nearby.
And Gilby's beard hairs on the glass?
Are you kidding? Do you know how easy it is to get some of his beard hair? That idiot gets his beard stuck in everything.
Hey, didn't Blaine die by poisoning too? Jesus, you really did your homework.
Oh, I kept careful watch over every detail. I even memorized the incriminating photos Michael was going to hand out.
Oh, so that's how your dick
The
pictures
dick
got in the
photos.
envelopes.
A brief slip up, but my
Yep.
dick drawing envelopes are very similar. I sort them by date
And
and girth.
Really the only reasonable way to do it.
Anyway, all it took was a little silly Barbara to throw people off. And then I played the rest
that
of the
was
evening
something
like
you
a
kind of cut on.
shitty
You were like,
cat
wait, what?
piano. I led people to my poem
Why don't we get the hell out of here?
and acted like I gave a shit about finding the killer.
No one's going anywhere until we find the killer.
And by then, all the traps had been set. Some literally, like mousetraps that I corralled Gavin to. Of course, it did take for fucking ever to teach the Scorpion and Puma the safe song. Do you know how hard it is to teach a scorpion a song? It's like they have the attention span of a...
Scorpion?
Exactly. And that just left you, Ryan.
Me?
You spend so much time as a virtual sociopath. I knew you'd be able to see right through me. So, I killed Michael and Gavin first, and gave you just enough clues to make you doubt your own sanity.
Except that you messed up, Barb. In the riddle you wrote, you said that the killer is killed.
Well, he will be. Once I frame you, of course, the most obvious suspect on the planet. Especially now that your heist outfit has the blood of several of the victims on it.
Yeah.
The police get bodies to match the riddles, and I get away scot-free.
There's just one problem with your plan.
Oh, and what's that?
When you were learning all those other things, you probably should have figured out that ties are slip knots.
Yeah.
Whoa! Can we talk for a minute? You like killing people? I like pretending to kill people? We can work this out. Oh, seriously? Ow!
Your calcium.
Really? No. Oh! I had a barbecue or a murder?
Here?
Right there!
There?
I can see you! That only works on camera!
Different dick-shaped things.
Yeah.
Oh, for the... Ah! You know what? I'm leaving. Ow. Whoa, time out. God damn it, Barb.
The time of Goddammit Barb is over. I'm God now, so it's Barb, damn it, Barb.
What?
Doesn't matter. Anyways, get ready to hunt achievements in hell.
Wait. Where'd you get that suit?
The achievement office, why?
That's actually my 100% accurate creeper suit from Minecraft. I made it for Gavin.
So?
So it's completely stuffed with explosives.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Creeper suit, activate!
What is that? Make it stop!
Barb, damn you, Barb.
No! 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 No!
And the killer was killed.
Right.
And then there was one.
And now he can have his Mad King exit.
Yep. The blood on his face and his kilt.
Yeah.
Going commando. Everyone else in the office dead.
Yeah.
Yep, you called it. Nicely done.
Well, that ended with a bang.
So, the thing I figured out in the second episode was that Barbara didn't get one of the slips. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Why didn't I...
No, she did get a slip. She did get a slip.
Did she? It didn't show it.
Yeah, so we're going to let the credits play through, but I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. Because there is an end credit scene, I believe.
Okay.
So the gist of it is that Barbara slipped up with the dick drawing things.
Right.
But the thing is that basically shows that she was the one drawing the, putting the pictures around.
Right, yes.
She was giving them around certain people. So the one that she got, though, was of her boyfriend, Aaron, getting poisoned.
Hey, dicks coming at you. Where are you gonna go? Nowhere. Dicks everywhere.
This is, I think, some of their bloopers, kind of. These are pretty funny. This almost gives off a James Bond
goes out
vibe.
all the time, and they never even think about like, oh, hey, maybe you want to go out and go see a movie too, because you know what, movies aren't always as much fun watching them by yourself. But it doesn't matter.
I loved
you
him.
Don't need them.
Oh yeah, he was
Right.
great.
Chris Damaris did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Hey Bernie, I was actually meaning to talk to you.
Oh great, this is
My
funny.
mom was telling me that I'm just gonna get to the point. Your mom? So you might be my dad. Okay.
Are you trying to say we got Peter Dinklage for RTX?
Even better, Harrison Ford, Rivers Cuomo, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Vincent Price, the Mona Lisa, Paul from the Wonder Years.
You kind of have that put the lotion in the basket kind of feel, yeah.
What is that? Okay, is that a reference?
Really?
It's all about the beard.
Barbara, you silly bitch. What are you doing?
My mom
But,
told me on Christmas, she
I
used the
will watch
phrase
these.
plowed. I'm not, those are her words, those aren't my words. What I'm getting at, Dad, baby dad, pasta dad, is, what are you doing tonight? What are you doing after work? Are you free?
Miles,
Are you free? Are you free? Are you free?
all I can tell you is
Are you
this.
free?
The 80s were a weird time.
So the thing when Barbara was oh right, yeah.
Gang's all here. Well, except for Michael, he died a little while ago. Oh, Gavin died too. Well, hey, Jeff, Jack, and Ray. You guys aren't in this, so I guess you lived.
Something to think about for 11 Little Roosters.
Oh, gotcha.
People that weren't involved in this have the potential to be in a future.
Gotcha. Now, are the people that were in this and died not going to be in the next one?
There is continuity, actually.
So none of the people.
But there is some also not continuity because they reuse some actors.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say
like Barbara's in the next one.
Yeah.
Like she's the main character in the next one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think there might be something after this. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
The juror Tolkien. Yes. But not all who are here are fucking nerds. So roll. Oh my god.
That.
Those guys love them.
Okay. So that did something that I thought was really interesting. So
What's that?
When I watched the first episode, I thought they were going to go for someone that's the most medium suspect. Now, granted, I totally forgot about the thing with Barbara, with the pictures and everything.
Yep.
because that was like super obvious, and I commented on that, but then I just ignored it. That's strange. But Barbara was actually the one, along with Gavin, that I was like, there is no way that person's the killer.
Yep.
I just thought there's no way they're gonna do that, but hey, they did it.
Yep. And all my friends in Discord and stuff, they were like, "Ha!" Jacob's all like, "It can't be Barbara." Every time he said it can't be Barbara, they were like, "Bah!" just laughing. Yeah. Okay, so here are the other clues that weren't as obvious. So Barbara was the one that made her way to like everyone. Like she just ended up in everyone else's kind of path along the way, whereas most everyone else tried to go all solo. But if you notice, it was generally Barbara that was bumping into everyone. If you counted up how many times everyone bumped into everyone, like this is really like counting it up and stuff. You would have to have pen and paper and spreadsheets and stuff. But Barbara gets into everyone else's business like way too conveniently. Also, she ended up being the one to kind of find Ryan, quote unquote, in the hole. But you were ready for the biggest hint of all that was like super obvious that is episode split apart.
Other than
this is the one that gave it away for me in my opinion.
What was it?
So the papers one is a little bit interesting, but the reason why the papers one is actually a good clue is not because of the fact that the dicks are involved. It's because of the fact that her picture was of her boyfriend, Aaron Marquis. But the thing is, Aaron is the actor for Bernie's partner. And technically the only story we have of the killer being outside of this whole office scenario is Bernie's partner being killed. So that was one of the things that's kind of that was one of the first clues that kind of turned me on to looking at Barbara as a suspect.
Okay.
But I didn't actually suspect.
Rooster Teeth that much.
Yeah, that's one that I wouldn't expect you to know. But there is one that's very sneaky that you don't have to know anything about the show. You just have to think about things said in the progression from episode to. Okay, so Gus and Ryan have a Diet Coke exchange, and it's very interesting. There's a part where Gus is he's at his keyboard typing and stuff like that, and it's supposed to make it seem like he's suspicious, but it's like no. But Barbara ends up showing up, and she's going for a bowling pin for whatever reason. It was sort of I think a red herring for a weapon possibility and stuff. But they have that little Jinx moment where he's like, "Ha, Jinx, get me a Coke." And she's like, "Ugh, there's none of that diet shit either." And the Diet Coke ends up being in Ryan's hands later, which ends up drugging him and putting him into the hole in which Barbara finds him, quote unquote, later.
But
so the Diet Coke thing basically gives away that there was a connection.
There was a point where Barbara would have had to get a
Coke,
and she could have gotten a Diet Coke too.
Well, yes, but the thing is that Ryan is the only person to have an encounter with the killer and not immediately die. Afterwards. Chris Damaris died the very next episode.
Yes, but he didn't die from the kill. Like he didn't.
No, but he died the very next episode.
Yes.
Ryan has it over like 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay.
So I super suspected Barbara, but when Ryan didn't die, it basically...
When he didn't die the episode after he got out.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It basically threw him completely into the he's not the killer spot. And then based on some of my other suppositions that, it made sense for Barbara to be
when
the killer.
Gus died... What was the thing that made you know Barbara was the killer?
It was the Diet Coke.
Oh.
Because he didn't die at that part. He just told her to get him a Diet Coke.
Well, right, but he did die in that episode.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But he never got the Diet Coke, so... Well, he never got the Coke. He didn't want Diet Coke.
Okay.
Another thing that you figured out in episode 2 was we were looking over the hints. It was either episode 1 or episode 2. You were looking over all the hints... And you got to the last one where it says, one died of a pun, the killer was killed, and then there was one. And you said, that puts Barbara at the end of things. And you said, well, Barbara is either the killer or she's going to survive.
Right.
And I was like,
Well, yeah, but that's obvious. Like,
Yeah. But the thing was, you never tried to connect the dots of what what kind of evidence would be needed to compile for her to be a killer. But you also said, hey, one died of a pun. If that's not the killer dying of a pun, that probably has something to like correlate like the characters and a pun, like who's associated with puns. Okay, if it's not Barbara, if Barbara, you know,
and then I was saying like whose
name is associated with puns, and if you had just looked at all the names, there's only one real name that is a pun in and of itself. The name Miles is also a word that means it's a unit of distance. None of the other names have a pun in them, really. And that's a thing where it's like, oh, you were so close, but I wonder if that would have actually helped anything, because you never suspected Miles of being the killer.
No. Well, actually, no. In the first episode, I thought he was the most medium suspect.
Right, because he was just there and he wasn't doing anything.
Right.
But if you had gone the route of who is obvious is getting basically thrown under the bus by the killer, it also becomes very easy to figure out it's Barbara early on, because basically everyone that gets some kind of obvious clue thrown their way in the beginning, like really obvious, you can just basically say is not the killer. Now that's not a way that everyone thought initially.
Oh, sure, because the killer would make it so that they... Okay.
Right.
Sure,
so
because if the killer was really staging it and being smart about it...
This is some of the people that they instantly knew weren't the killer. Some people knew that instantly wasn't Gus or Adam,
right.
or Michael, of course, because he died.
Right, yeah.
But because they were thrown under the bus. Then they also almost immediately knew that it wasn't Ryan because of his GTA outfit. And then by extension, Chris saw the killer in the GTA outfit, so it wasn't Chris either. Right. And then they also introduced in the very second episode that Bernie was an undercover cop.
Right.
Which to an extent, some people basically said, okay, none of them are the killer, which leaves basically Lindsay, Ryan, Gavin, and Barbara.
Well, when I first saw the...
I guess Miles also technically is in there.
Yeah.
But based on that, basically people...
Right.
Oh, wait, no. Ryan's not it. It's just Lindsay... but Gavin died in the second episode, so it wouldn't be him. So it was Lindsay, Miles, or Barbara, which is funny because those three were the last three to die.
Yeah.
And a lot of people actually thought, I remember, that Lindsay was acting kind of weird, so they thought she was the killer. But,
right.
Yeah. I think most people figured out it was Barbara by about the halfway point.
Okay. Well...
But then again, you don't have as much Rooster Teeth knowledge as some of these people do.
I really don't have a lot of Rooster Teeth knowledge.
But there were points where you were really close to jumping on to Barbara as being the...
I remember when I first actually watched the episode with... where Chris Damaris didn't die.
Right.
I thought that was
riddles
actually...
in the dark.
Yeah. I actually thought that was probably the best clue for who the killer was. Because what kind of person wouldn't kill Chris because of his, blithering riddles in the dark and, crying and stuff, right?
Right.
Because they had, like, the gasoline and everything, and I thought for a second that they might actually make it so it wasn't actually a gag, that it was someone basically just, like, getting in a costume or something, and Ryan, and Chris just assumed it's the killer. And starts like, oh my god, and just freaking out. But they're just like, okay, yeah, all right, bye,
Yeah, absolutely. So all in all, you've watched the series.
Yes.
Are you ever going to rewatch it?
Maybe.
Sounds like a no.
It would probably be something where more like I would rewatch like specific episodes.
Okay.
Because most of the. Some of the jokes were just lost on me because I don't know a whole lot about Rooster Teeth type stuff. A lot of the clues too. But, a lot of the jokes were quite good. I loved the Boromir scene. Loved it. It was great.
The Boromir scene is one of the best.
Yeah, it was just, that was fantastic.
It was great having Bernie being in the background there instead of having it be just a Boromir scene.
Right.
Had Bernie with the gun being like, all right, this is my
comes-
time, and then and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And Now, one of the things that I find interesting is that they didn't address the times Barbara messed up in the final episode, because I would think that would be the main thing that they would want to talk about, not the times that she succeeded at killing people.
No, they did. She's the drawing the dicks getting mixed up to different people.
No, yeah,
that was her biggest slip up.
That was her biggest slip up, yes.
Right.
But they didn't talk about the times that she slipped up with the killing of people, which I thought was the main thing. They did talk about they did excuse the whole thing of how there was the scorpion on the floor, and she's like, "Ooh, get it away," because saying that, do you know how long it takes to train a scorpion?
Right. She was also in areas in previous episodes where the weapons that were used in future episodes were.
Right. Like she was the one who discovered who was first seen around the puma, I believe.
Yep. And the scorpion.
Correct. Yeah. Although the scorpion, the initial instincts that could be thrown off because, well, actually for both of those, she was scared of him. But I mean, I guess that
also
makes sense.
one of the trickier things. I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but if you go back and watch the episodes where the Ryan GTA outfit is involved, I don't think you ever see Barbara. I think you might on one of them, but in some of them you don't.
In the first episode that the GTA 5 outfit is introduced, I do believe Barbara is in that episode and she is shown.
Yeah, but I think in the next one you don't.
Right,
see
yeah,
her.
probably not. But I remember that was what made me really suspicious of Gus. Because he was the only person who was actually not shown.
But I was surprised that you kind of held on to that. The thing is that I think that was one of the clever writing things that they did in order to make you kind of be thrown on to Gus. Mm-hmm. By a lack of evidence rather than actual evidence.
Sure. The other thing that I was going on is, and this was probably a bit maybe meta, but Barbara does not have broad shoulders. Was that actually Barbara in the costume? Because I don't think it. I do not think it.
I don't think we should be looking that deep into it, continuity wise.
That was one of the main things that was.
I think it might not have been any of them actually.
It might not have.
Think about it in terms of production. If you actually had someone 5'7" go in and all the people in the show are actually like 6 foot and stuff,
right, yeah. Then it becomes a problem. You have to it's like Robert Downey Jr. When he's talking to Thor, they put him on the heels. But
so I wouldn't think too much about that. There were things that
and things like that tend to throw me off.
Things
then it's
like that
what
tend to
can
throw
you
you
take
off.
seriously?
But also, I think that's because you don't necessarily know the vibe of Rooster Teeth specifically.
Right.
There are things that are jokes, and jokes are where you just tend to watch and see what kind of writing stuff is done there. Also, if this show had better writing, better acting, and better just general structure as a whole, would you like it?
Well, and that's what makes me excited for 11 Little Roosters.
I know,
because it'll be improved. That's just
it's a
what
lot
tends
more
to happen
improved,
when you're trying something out that's new, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a better feel for their style now.
Also, by the way, the thing that we're gonna have to deal with in 11 Little Roosters, which will be fun, is the clues are given literally.
Wait.
Meaning that there are actual web link URLs given with clues in the episodes for you to actually find out the clues that will tell you. They will tell you who the killer is so that you can figure it out. But that makes it impossible to figure out from the first episode. What that also does, though, is it makes it... There's 2 ways you can figure out who the killer is in 11 Little Roosters.
Okay.
You can look for the oddities that, don't make sense. You can basically try and figure out like you did with 10 Little Roosters. Or they give you an actual path to playing it and doing it in depth with, like, actual visual clues where you'll see letters and numbers in correlation to things that, don't make sense, or they will break the fourth wall even to some extent. There's a part I'll kind of let you in on. They speak a different language at one point, and if you actually decode what they're speaking in that language, it makes no sense with the subtitles. Like the subtitles that they give you, they're not actually saying that in that language.
Oh, okay.
So,
but if you figure out what they're actually saying, then it's
right.
like the killer is this person or something like that.
Right. So you can choose in the next week how you want to actually do that? Do you want to do it with kind of sleuthing, and then that means that on your own time you can rewatch it as many times as you want? I don't know if you'd want to do that, but yeah, we'll figure that.
We will figure something out. But I'm excited to, because with mystery type stuff, I tend to actually not try and figure it out too much. I find that when I'm actively trying to like take something apart, my enjoyment goes down.
Right, because you generally can take it apart so much so that you see all the flaws and not much else.
Yeah, like I tend to like the experience of a story rather than like going into like getting super critical with it.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see in the next one what's different, what's similar, and
I think you're gonna love some of the characters in particular. They are very uniquely designed.
Cool,
specifically a couple of them.
That was one of the things that I was really hoping that we would have gotten more of, because while it was funny to see everyone as like exaggerations of themselves.
No, Chris was the only person playing a character to some extent.
Right, and he was the best one.
And so Gavin kind of was with the clones,
but that lasted
one episode because he died immediately.
Right,
but in this one, they're all playing characters.
Awesome.
None of them are actually themselves.
One other question: do the weapons actually make sense?
Because I'll let you figure that whole stuff out once you watch the actual episode.
Because here's the thing.
No, I'm not going to tell you anything about that.
But when I was watching this at the beginning, right?
To an extent, they do away with weapons. The whole weapons thing is
awesome. That's fantastic, because I remember when I watched the first episode, and I'm thinking of like, and you commented, after Gavin died, you're like, why didn't you guys slow motion mouse traps? Like, Gavin's slow mo guys, right? And I'm like, well, there's no way someone could die from mouse traps. Like, that was just my thought process. And then when his body started falling into a bunch of pieces, I'm like, so that's the angle they're taking.
That's the angle of the show I'm watching.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, this has been a great run. Thank you for sticking with us, watching 10 Little Roosters and Jacob going through this for the first time.
Yeah.
So until 11 Little Roosters next week, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.